Hey everyone, my name is Joe and I'm the Kosher Ninja. We're planning on preparing my bucket list adventure, which is to hike through Israel from one end to the other later this year. It's called the Israel National Trail, or Shvil Israel, and I am so happy that you've stopped by to share this journey. While you're here, I hope that you'll subscribe, but right now it's finally time to geek out on my gear. I'm so excited. Today we're going to start with the essentials, the big three. Let's get to it. We're going to talk about the big three, which in backpacking speak is your pack, your shelter, and your sleep system. So let's start with my pack. And as I've told you before, I've never ever done anything like this before in my life. So I had to buy a brand new pack for this. And I tried a couple. I ended up trying the two Gregorys, the Gregory Jade and the Gregory Amber. So I tried the Gregory Jade 53, which is what I have right here. And I tried the Amber 44. And I really liked the size of the Amber 44. But when I finally went to buy it, it just didn't feel right. So I ended up with the Jade 53. So 53 stands for liters, and I really would have liked the 44. It would have given me incentive to not take extra stuff, but the 53 is great. It's not too big, hopefully. We'll find out. But I'm loving it. It has lots of different compartments, and it has this little top hat thingy on it that unfortunately doesn't actually come off, I don't think, but I can probably MacGyver it such that it does, because that could be very useful. And another way to actually leave, if I want to leave that behind and then I don't have that extra weight. But it actually has, like, again, I love pockets. It's got so many like pockets in it that I can actually use so that I can know exactly where everything is in my pack. And the other thing that I love about this pack is the Amber had only two openings. It had a top opening and a bottom opening. The Jade has the top opening right here. It has the bottom opening down here. You can't see that right here. I'll probably keep my sleep system down here in the bottom pack, bottom opening compartment. And it has this pocket on the outside that you can stick stuff in, but it also has this middle, what I guess they call a front opening right here. So I can access my gear when it's in my pack from anywhere. Whatever I need, wherever it is, I can access it super easily, and that I'm really stoked about. Very excited, and I can't wait to try it out. And it has all sorts of little clips and things for tricking poles. And then it has side pockets here around the hip belt for snacks and stuff like that. And we're going to look into how I end up packing that. But for now, I'm just super excited about that. So the second part of the big three is shelter. And there's a bunch of different options for shelter along the Shvil. There are, in the bigger towns, there are hotels that you can stay at if your budget allows. Mine certainly does not, but I will be treating myself at the end for sure. There are hostels throughout Israel in a lot of places, and you can stay at some of those where they're close to the trail. And the hostels I've found in Israel are generally very good, and they're reasonably priced and fairly clean, and I really like staying at hostels in Israel. The other option is Trail Angels. These are local volunteers who want to support the hiking community, and they open their homes and their yards for hikers to pitch their tent in their yard, or they might have a special room set aside for hikers to set up their sleeping bags in. And it's just a great opportunity to meet locals. And I had actually originally planned to just camp out which is the fourth option. And I realized afterwards, I heard from a source that once the trail angels know that I'm out there, they're going to be highly offended if I don't stay with them. So not sure about that, but it did make me think, wait a minute. Part of my whole reason for doing this whole adventure is to show Israelis my support. And how are they going to feel my support if they don't even know I'm there? So yeah, so I changed my mind. I look forward to meeting a lot of the trail angels and to staying with some of them along the trail, and we'll just see how it goes. That will be one of my plans for shelter. But especially on the US trifecta, it's really important you take a tent, and that's your shelter. I'm not taking a tent. This is my shelter right here. I am taking a ultralight tarp, and this is it right here. That's my tarp. That's my shelter. It's a Mountain Laurel Designs Monk ultralight tarp. It's silnylon. And I didn't take the Cuben fiber version, even though it would have been lighter, because I couldn't get the size that I wanted. I probably would have had to cut it down. And then the Cuben fiber, from what my research, as far as I can tell, is pretty crinkly. And I thought it would just be pretty loud. And also, quite possibly not. It's exceptionally durable, Cuben fiber is, but for the specific conditions in Israel, I just thought that the silnylon would be better and would also hopefully give me a little bit more privacy than the Cuben fiber tarp would have. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm tarping it simply because, well, I'm not taking a tent because Israelis don't take a tent, so why should I take a tent? And but I'm not quite ready to pure cowboy camp and go without anything, although I probably will on a few nights at least. But the tarp, I feel, gives me a little bit of shelter if I want, from the rain or from that 0.001% chance of rain, or from the sun in the desert if I have the energy to pitch it up for some shelter at noon when the sun is really, really super hot. I may do that. And the other thing, hopefully, like I said, it'll give me a little bit chance for some privacy. So that's why I'm taking the tarp and not going pure cowboy camping. And then what I ordered as well with the tarp, I ordered some guyline so that I can set it up, and it sets up with my trekking poles. So that's going to be a whole adventure, learning how to pitch it, but we'll see about that. So I ordered this ground sheet so that I'm not literally just sleeping on the ground. It is Cuben, and it's not as noisy as I thought it would be, but at least this ground sheet, you can't see it there, but it's white and it's very, very see-through. I don't know, maybe the tarp would have been less so and afforded a little more privacy, I don't know, but at least this gives me an opportunity to test the Cuben fiber, and then if I decide I'm going to do more of this kind of thing, then maybe I might try to get some more Cuben gear, because I've heard it's really good. And then I also ordered some tent pegs. These are titanium, I think they're titanium tent pegs from Mountain Laurel Designs. So they're super lightweight and will help me to pitch the tarp. And it comes with this silicone seam sealer with which I have to seal the seams on my tarp, which I haven't done yet. So that's going to be interesting. And the other thing it comes with is a little bit of extra silnylon, so you can patch up your tarp if you need to. Kind of a little, not exactly a repair kit because it doesn't have the glue, so I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, so that, my friends, is my sleep shelter. Or sorry, my shelter. So the final part of my big three is my sleep system. And for my sleep system, I've got my sleeping bag, of course, and this is a MEC Talon +5, I believe. It's rated for +5 degrees Celsius, and I've tested it on some of my camping trips last summer, and it's awesome. I love it. I thought I would actually probably die because I'm allergic to down, and it's a down sleeping bag, but I was fine. So I'm really, really happy with it. And this, of course, is not the actual pack or bag for it. I don't know what you call it. Okay, and I can't open it. There we go. So this is the sleeping bag. It's red. I love red, and it packs up crazy tiny. Like, it packs up like this. It's unbelievable, and it's super lightweight. I had initially thought that I would sleep with take a quilt. Yeah, right. That's what I'm going to sleep in. It's one of the big things among backpackers these days is a quilt. And that's basically just a sleeping bag at the top of a sleeping bag. And the idea is that it's more lightweight because you're not bringing the wasted material that you sleep on and doesn't give you any loft, so it doesn't give you any warmth. So you're just bringing the top, which actually gives you warmth. And I looked at a Therm-a-Rest chorus quilt, but it turned out it was ginormous. Even the smaller, I think there might have been a smaller size or whatever, the size I was looking at, once I compared it to this sleeping bag, it was just ginormous. It weighed a ton and way bigger than I needed. And so when I found this, the guy at MEC actually recommended this sleeping bag, and I just love it. It's tiny, it's lightweight, and I can always use it as a quilt. I can unzip the whole thing and just use it as a quilt on top of me. So it's very versatile, and I can't wait to use it on the Shvil. The other parts of my sleeping system is comfort. Sleeping pad. This is my old sleeping pad that I was originally going to bring. It's a Therm-a-Rest Women's ProPlus, and it's a self-inflating bag, and I love it. It's kept me warm when I do my Thanksgiving winter hiking, winter camping, I mean. But I think it might have a leak in it, and it also is actually, because of the foam inside that allows it to self-inflate, it's actually quite heavy. So I was, for the longest time, planning to bring this, and then I just changed my mind. So I'm not actually bringing the self-inflating sleeping pad. I discovered the NeoAir UberLite, which is brand new, and this one is the small, so it's tiny. You can see how tiny it is, and it weighs next to nothing. Now this one, the self-inflating pad, gets up to about less than, I think it's less than an inch in thickness. So I actually do, at this point in my life, appreciate comfort. And so I'm quite looking forward to the fact that this one inflates up to 2.5 inches. So that will give me quite a bit more comfort, help my back along the trail. The one thing I'm concerned about is that because it's UberLite, the wind just picked up. Obviously the fabric is ultralight, and in Israeli conditions I'm a little concerned that it's going to get roughed up, poked and prodded, and it's going to get holes in it. So by the time we get back, it will probably weigh about twice as much as it weighs now from all the patches I have to put on it. We're talking about rocky desert conditions, cactus needles. Up in the north, there's all kinds of plants that are, and pokey things like thorns and stuff like that can poke holes in this. So we'll just have to see how it holds out. So the good thing about the self-inflating pad is that it self-inflates. So when you get into camp at night, you don't have to spend the next half hour blowing up your sleeping pad. You just lay it out, it self-inflates, and then you might have to top it up a little bit, but that's all, and it's great. The NeoAir does not. You have to actually blow that up. But Therm-a-Rest has come up with this awesome solution, so you can actually blow up your sleeping pad without blowing it up. And it's called a NeoAir PumpSack, and I ordered this with the UberLite. You are never, ever going to see this tiny again. I promise you that. But hopefully it'll pack up pretty tiny. The stuff sack, it's going to have to fit into the stuff sack it came in, so it must get pretty close to this. We're going to go test it out in my tent, which I'm going to sleep on tonight so that I can see how well it works. And this one is, I should say, this is the small. I'm small, so it's basically going to give me coverage from about my head down to my knees, and we'll just have to see how that works. And head on over to my tent to pump it up. Oh, really? I forgot the adapter for the microphone, so there's no sound. Basically, I'm explaining that the wind is going to blow me and the tent away, and I've just discovered that the windows are peeling off the fly. Well, that was disappointing, but with the thunderstorm that they're promising for tonight, I just couldn't run the risk that it might rain through those holes in the windows. And I don't mind the wind. The wind would have been fine. I've never had a problem with that tent in the wind, but just I didn't want to run that risk with the storm tonight. So I packed it all up, brought it back in, and we're going with plan B. So I also noticed that there was a couple of items in my sleep system that I forgot to mention, so I'll mention those now because they're definitely coming along with me. One is my sleeping bag liner, which this one is a Sea to Summit rectangular standard silk sleeping bag liner, and I love it. It is absolutely fabulous when I go camping at Thanksgiving. It keeps me at least a couple degrees warmer than I would be without it. And in the desert in Israel, to the extent that the nights are warm, I can sleep just in this. I don't even have to sleep in my sleeping bag. So that one is definitely coming along. And this one, which is also tiny, is my pillow. I can't wait to test that out. It's also new. I've bought a lot of new stuff for this trip simply because I haven't ever done anything like this before, and some of the gear that I had purchased it originally, including that tent that you just saw me blow away in. I had purchased it all with the idea in mind that I would take it on my 5 to 7 day backpacking trip. Now that my 5 to 7 day backpacking trip has turned into hiking the Shvil, it's really not, it's light, but it's not light enough because of all my gear. So pillow, very, very important thing. And it is a luxury item according to some, but for me, it's just necessary. Some people will use their pack. They'll put their pack under their head, or they'll stuff their jacket in a stuff sack. That's also another way to make a pillow and to use items that you've already got with you to have them serve a dual purpose. But I just thought, you know what, this is really super lightweight and I really need a pillow. I really appreciate the comfort of my head and my ears that they don't get squished against something that's a little bit too hard. So yeah, so that's going to be one of my luxury items for sure. So if you're as excited as I am about my adventure, give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share this video with your friends. And if you have any questions or comments about my big three, in particular if you've had a chance to test out the NeoAir UberLite already and have any feedback on how sturdy it is, I would really appreciate that. Put those in the comments below. Also, as always, if you've ever hiked the Shvil or anywhere else in Israel, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. I'm so excited to be sharing this journey with you, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Until then, thanks for watching and shalom, eh? Let this car go by. Another car coming. Let's let it pass. 2 cars. What? Oh, stop driving through here. Why are you all driving through here, people? Ah, you're making so much noise on my video. Okay, wait for the car to go by. Cars! We're in the country, in the middle of nowhere. Why are you all driving by here? Okay.